Hey, good afternoon, folks. Mark coming to you live for our coffee and conversation that we do every Monday. Welcome all. As you know, what I do every Monday, I do a luncheon conversation where we talk about several topics that have to do with real estate. And real estate life, what's going on in South Lake, Florida and all around. So today, I think I'm going to start the broadcast on basically giving you a market update on what's happening here in South Lake, Florida. Okay? So we're going to go through the numbers and we're going to talk about what these numbers mean and how does it affect buyers and sellers in our current market. Okay? So we're going to start off, we'll give you basically, based on the 7-day market analysis, is what's happening in Claremont, Mineola, Groveland, Mascot, and Mount Verde, okay? Which I think some people call it Mount Verde, I'm not sure, but we're going to talk about it, okay? So let's go over what's happening. In the last 7 days, number of new listings that we've had, we have 86 new listings, and that means that our inventory continues to grow here in South Lake, Florida. So we have 86 new listings, price increases, we have 28 price increases, which means some sellers gain confidence because they believe that their homes will have a better chance of selling at the price they put it up on. Price decreases, we have 118 price decreases. This is a big number. That's 42% of more homes reduced their price than came on the market. That's a lot. Back on the market, we have 15 homes come back on the market. We have 85 homes pending, and we have 57 homes sold, which is not bad. You know, that means homes are still selling every week and listings are finding buyers, which is great. Now we have a number of 19 homes that have expired. Sellers basically are leaving the market because they aren't getting the results they expected. And we have 4 new homes coming on the market in the last 7 days in those areas. So that's more inventories that's going to be coming available. Now, if you notice me looking to the side, because I have my notes all available here for me so I can give you accurate numbers, and I put this together every week so I can basically go over it with you. So what does that mean? What does it mean what's happening in the market right now? So based on what we see in the numbers, buyers have more negotiating powers, right? So if you have 118 price reductions, that stands out. 118 homes that are on the market, they actually reduced their price. So that should tell you something as a buyer, and that should tell you something as a seller. Many sellers are basically putting their houses on the market too high. So they're putting their house on the market priced above what the market is saying your house should be priced at. So sellers need to really reevaluate what they're doing and basically look into the advice they're being given, because I know if they have a realtor with you and that realtor is basically just accepting the price that you're giving them, that may be a problem. But if you got some comps that are done by that realtor and they're showing you what the market is basically saying based on closed homes that are actually sold in your area, and you're going above what the market is saying, you're really putting yourself in a bad situation where your home is going to sit on the market longer than it needs to be sitting on the market, and you're going to be one of those people who have to do this price reduction. So just really look at the numbers and, really consider what you're doing, because buyers are price sensitive. So what does that mean? Because the mortgage rates are what they are now, buyers aren't automatically going to say, okay, I'm going to pay a higher price for that home when I really don't need to, because they have more options out there. It's more of a balanced market that's leaning towards buyers. There's more inventory out there for them to look at. So you have to consider these things if you're really thinking about selling your home. Now, We talked about homes not being priced correctly. That's as far as with sellers. Now, for buyers, this creates opportunity for negotiations. So when the buyers see that these price reductions are going on, that creates opportunity for that buyer for them to come in and they can get the home for a lower purchase price because they know that seller wants to sell and it's been on the market for a longer period of time. Now, what should that buyer be asking for? They should be asking for sellers paid closing costs for them, right? They should be even asking for interest buy downs. They can get interest buy downs with the sellers. Also, they can ask the seller to pay for interest buy down for them. That help them go from that higher interest rate to a lower interest rate. They can ask for more repair concessions with the seller because they see that that home has been on the market for a longer period of time and they've already gone through price reductions. And your realtor should be able to relate this information to you when you're looking at these homes and looking at, well, what does this mean with the price reduction? What does this mean? This has been on the market for this period of time. What does it mean for this particular area? How homes being moved, being sold in this area? How many of them are closing? You know, what does it really mean? So these are things you need to look at as a seller and a buyer to help you decide, one, for the seller, when I'm putting my house in the market, what I should be putting it on the market for, and as a buyer, giving you some negotiating power. Okay, so those are some options. Those are some things for you to think about. Now, the good news is that homes are still selling. That's for sellers. That's on the seller's perspective. That's the good news. Homes are still selling regardless of the price reduction or whatever. Homes are still selling because we have 86 new listings, right? But we have 85 pending listings. And what does it mean by pending? Meaning that an offer has been made on the home, they've gone under contract, and now it's just waiting to go to closing. So these are homes that are actually, with 85 pending, these are homes that offers have been made, contracts have been accepted, now they're just waiting to close on those homes. So that's a good sign. And that's a good sign for sellers to know that the homes are still selling in their particular market, which is those 5 areas: Claremont, Mineola, Mount Verde, Mascot, and Groveland. Last 7 days, this is what's happened. Now, this is an excellent absorption rate. And you say, oh, really? Yes, it is. I mean, you look at 86 new listings, 85 pending. That's good in the last 7 days, okay? Demand is still high, which is good. Even with the interest rates, demand is still high. So people are still looking to purchase homes, and it's still a great demand for this particular area, for these areas here, because it's really a vibrant area. A lot is going on. You got a lot of new builds, but not only that, you have a lot of activity going on here as far as, you know, things to do, you know, new things coming up. Crooked Can Brewery just opened up right in Mineola, which is a beautiful location. I'll put up some pictures so you can check them out on Facebook and little videos that I did. Excellent addition to the area. You have shops opening up. You have a vibrant downtown Claremont, which a lot of things are going on. You got the lake, you got the trails. So it makes it a really attractive area for people to come purchase here. So these are things for you to be looking at as a seller and a buyer. Now, pricing matters more than ever during this time. And these are things that people should be looking at. You got to understand that how you price the home, what you price it at, really makes a difference. You don't want to price it too high, but you also don't want to price it too low. So if you price the home right, your home will sell. If you overprice your home, you're going to fall into situations where you're going to have to reduce the price of your home sooner or later. You're going to probably reduce it multiple times if you price it way too high. And you might even move to the area of even canceling your contract or expiring because you have it priced too high. So you really have to look at what the home is being priced at, and you need to really evaluate what's happening in the market, and you need to consider what your trusted advisor is telling you. And in some cases, you know, some people, they go and they pay for, they pay to have their home, they pay for an appraiser to come out and actually give them appraisal before. Some sellers pay for that appraisal. And that might be a good thing for people who's not too, who's like, I don't want to listen to what the realtor is saying, or I just would like to have an honest, or which either way, it should be honest, but I just want to have something whereas the market is clear on what's happening here. And you say, well, hey, I want to pay for an appraisal. I don't mind doing that. You can do that also, and I'll give you an idea where you should be pricing your home, because your home is going to have to be appraised by an appraiser when that buyer makes an offer on the home, when that offer is accepted and that buyer is going through the process, because the bank is going to order an appraisal. So it should come in line with what you got from that appraiser anyway. Okay, sellers can still win. It's another thing. Sellers can still win, but strategy is everything. And what does that mean for you as the seller? A properly marketed home, and just make sure it's well priced, it's priced well. A home in Claremont, Mineola, Mount Vernon, Groveland, Mascow, those homes will attract buyers because of the area, and if it's priced right, it will attract buyers. This is a well sought after area. These areas that I mentioned to you, very, 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 very attractive to buyers. But you have to make sure you price your home right. In today's market, what sellers need to do is make sure they have professional photography done. If you're going to put your home in the market, make sure that you have the curb appeal, make sure you have everything clean, everything nice, make sure you take care of any repairs that need to be done, make sure you have that professional photography done, because that makes a big difference. Don't go around with your iPhone taking pictures, and if a agent is coming up with their iPhone taking pictures, you might want to consider someone else. You want to have professional pictures done. Very important. You got to have video marketing done. You got to make sure your home is video marketed on the different platforms so more people can see it and get out there to more people. You got to make sure you have a strong online exposure, that your home is being exposed online. Any agent you go to that's a member of the MLS, it automatically, once they put it in the MLS, it automatically goes out to all the syndications, right? So that's one thing that's done. But that agent should be doing some additional marketing on several other platforms, meaning on the different Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever they can, any other platform they can put it on, even some material. Even some magazines and whatnot, they still work in this time of day, but not as much as they used to, but they still work. But it should be getting as much exposure as possible. So make sure you want to find out from the agent, what are they really doing to give your home the exposure it really needs so more people can get an eye on that home. And you got to make sure that you competitively price your home. Meaning, don't mean that you price it too high, you price it too low, you price it right for what the market is showing you. We spoke about that earlier. Pricing your home too high can lose time, makes you spend more time on the market than you need to be spending time on the market, and it might get into you having to reduce your price because you have it too high. So you don't want to do that. And you got to have a clear marketing plan. You should be able to detail what is happening with your home. The marketing plan should be clear. It should be outlined from that whoever you're speaking to, the agent or whatever, should be able to outline what they're going to be doing to get your home sold. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you some grades of what I think is happening, overall grades for the market right now. So as far as demand, right, I'm going to say demand is strong. So we're going to give it, out of 5 stars, we're going to give it 4 stars. Why are we going to give it 4 stars? Because buyers are still purchasing homes, which is fantastic. It's not a crazy market like it was a few years back where homes are just flying off the market no matter what you did. You just put it up there and people are going for it because we had low inventory. Now it's more of a balanced market. It's leaning towards buyers. So demand is still strong. It's a 4 star out of 5, okay? As far as inventory, new homes are giving buyers additional choices. So not only do you have new construction, which is still high in this area here, new construction is going up all over the place. In Mineola, they're clearing out land to build new homes. I talked about that on a TikTok video, I believe. But if Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about it again on what builders are coming to the area. You got Sugarloaf Mountain, where a lot of builds are being done over there in Sugarloaf Mountain. If you don't know, here is the here we have actually hills in Mineola and Claremont, and a lot of builders going on there. So inventory, you still have a lot of inventory available as far as new construction, and you have inventory as far as resale homes in the area. So when we go to inventory, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars for inventory, because you still have choice available, okay, here in the area. Now, seller advantage. I want to talk about seller advantage. What I'm going to give for sellers advantage, 3 out of 5 stars. Now, you might say, why only 3 more? Well, it's still favorable for sellers who price their homes right, but it's no longer automatic, like I said before. I mean, if you price your home right, you still have a favorable advantage to be able to sell your home. I shouldn't say advantage. It's still favorable for you to sell your home, but you got to have it priced right. But it's just not automatic. Understand, buyers have choices out there. They have choices between new construction and existing home sales, right? Resale homes. They still have choices between them both. So depending on if you are a person who's looking to sell their home, you're a resale, right? Understand you have competition with other homes that are reselling, and you have competition with new construction as well. So you have to price your home right. You have to have some concessions you're willing to give that buyer in order to compete with the incentives that the new construction is giving to the buyers as well. So we talked about some of those incentives, those concessions. One, you can offer money towards down payment for the buyer. You can offer to pay down their interest on their existing what they're going for as far as like interest rate. You can maybe you have a you have an assumable mortgage. If you have an assumable mortgage, and what is an assumable mortgage? Whereas say you got your loan for your home at 3.5%, right? But you have what's called an assumable mortgage, where someone can come in and buy your home, and they can assume, don't mean they're going to assume your name and everything else. No, they can assume that interest rate that you're paying and move into that home, purchase that home. There's some requirements for that buyer to do in order to get that assumable mortgage. One, they have to be able to pay that difference. So it's something that goes into detail, and we can talk about that you can ask about that, actually. You can ask about that with a financial advisor, with a loan officer, about how it works. We can even cover that. If you have a question for me, we can cover that, and I can connect you with people who can tell you more about it. But those are some of the options that you have available. So based on my market analysis for the last 7 days, this is what I have to tell you. And I wrote this down. I made it nice and neat and clear, so let me read it off to you. The South Lake market is transitioning into a healthier, more balanced market. What does that mean? Buyers have more options, like we've already discussed, and stronger negotiating powers, while sellers who price their homes correctly continue to attract offers. Meaning, if you price your home correctly, you have it that curb appeal, you cleaned the home up really nice, you're taking care of repairs. Guess what? You're able to attract offers. The biggest trend is the higher number of price reductions, showing that today's buyers are not willing to overpay. They don't want to overpay for a home because they have so many choices. And if it was like a crazy market where homes are just flying off, hey, maybe they'll take some of that and they'll say, hey, I'll pay a little bit more than what I have to. But nowadays, they are willing to walk away because of the options available to them. And you have to consider whatever that interest rate they're paying. So they're going to be more centered on how is the affordability for them with purchasing this home as well. So you got to consider that. Homes that are well priced and well marketed are still selling, but the market is rewarding preparation and strategy over optimism. So that's very clear. I gave you an outline of what the market is saying to us now, and this is for buyers and sellers, so you should pay attention to what the numbers are saying, because you just ignore the numbers, or if you just ignore what's happening in the market, you as one seller, you can be one, pricing yourself out of the market, having to reduce your prices, or go to that expired list, or withdrawing your home off the market because you're not getting the results you wanted, or even as a buyer, you might overpay for a home that you don't need to overpay for, and you might not take advantage of your negotiating power that you do have in order to negotiate, hey, getting some money to help you get into that home, getting some money back towards down payment, pay it for a lower interest rate, or looking at other options that's available, or get some repairs done. So you need to know what's happening in the market, and you should be getting that information for whoever your trusted advisor is who's helping you through the process. So, for this week headline, I would say there's more choices, like I've already mentioned. Price reductions are happening. Small buyers are negotiating, and sellers are pricing to win. You're priced to win when you price your home right. If you're pricing your home too high, you're not pricing to win. You're gonna fall into the situation where you might be having your house on the market longer than you need to have it, and that can be preventing you from doing what you plan to do, because you put your home on the market because you have a plan. You either want to move someplace else, you want to go someplace else, you have other plans set up. So don't stall your plans, do it right, and your home will sell, okay? Now, we went through all those things. I hope this information was helpful for you. I gave you the 5 stars. I gave you the 4 stars and the 3 stars, talking about each one of the topics. Each one of the areas there. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you got more information out of it. And for my buyers out there who caught this video, who's saying, wow, this is some good information. If you want more home hitting market information over what's happening in the market, hey, feel free to reach out to me anytime. And for my sellers who are thinking about buying and you want to know how you should be pricing your home, what steps you should be taking, give me a call anytime. You can even send me a little DM. You can text me. Whatever you need to do, I'm here to help you through the process. That was a quick market update. Only took us about 20 minutes to go through, which is great. I hope you got a lot of information from it. So now that we've discussed some of those things, one of the other things I want to be able to talk about is, real quick, I want to talk to my empty nesters out there who might be on the fence, who might be thinking about selling their homes, thinking about their next step. Now, what do I mean, empty nesters? These are people. I'm an empty nester. My wife and I, we're empty nesters. But we've already made the move. We've already done the things we need to do in order to get us where we are today. I'm talking to these empty nesters out there now who, hey, they're in this home, couple, you're in this home, or a single empty nester, whatever it is, but you're in this home. It's a larger home than what you need. You got rooms in your home that you no longer visit, you no longer use because, hey, maybe the kids are not there, or other family members, whatever that case may be. You got this larger home that, you know what, it's just taking up space. And you're saying, well, what do I do now that I'm an empty nester? What's happening with my life now? The choice is yours. When you're an empty nester, you have what's called freedom. And what do I mean by freedom? You had the freedom to choose what you're going to do now in life, right? The kids are no longer there. You're no longer in the situation where you have to worry about, okay, I got to be home a certain time, or you have choices on what your next decisions are going to be. If you live in a larger home, you can sell that larger home and purchase a smaller home, go into a condo, give you a little bit more freedom, not having to clean a larger home, that's one, not having those larger bills on that big home that you have, and you'll be able to reduce some of your responsibilities that you've had when you was living in a home that is larger than what it needs to be because it's only you or you and your significant other in it. So these are some things you could think about where you could have that more freedom to travel, to do more things, to go eat out. What's the next stage in your life brings to you? That's basically what I want to talk about with you briefly. So for those of you who are empty nesters, let's go through it. So I've written down some things for us to think about. When we are empty nesters and we're there in this home that we've been in for years, that we've raised our kids in, that we have like on the wall, we took their size as they grew up and we marked them. And we have a lot of memories there. You have pictures that's a lot of memories of events you might have had at the home. You have a lot of things that's going on. I mean, your neighbors you've known for several years, and you're like, wow, we're really comfortable. Or maybe it's the area that you're in. Whatever it is, we go through a lot of emotional, it can be overwhelming. It could overcome us because we're thinking, wow, I don't know if I move someplace else. You're stuck in that emotional pull with that place that you're in. So how do you overcome those things? That's one of the things you got to think about, right? So let's think about it. If you're in a larger home and you spend a lot of time cleaning, you spend a lot of time in doing repairs, you got rooms that you don't even visit anymore, and you think, well, I might as well keep these rooms because, hey, when the kids come back, look, you have this larger mortgage and you have all this, or maybe you don't have a mortgage at all. If you don't have a mortgage at all, that's fantastic. But you got empty space that you're not using. You got empty space that you have to air condition. You got to heat. You have empty space. Maybe you have a large lot where you have landscaping that has to be done. And all this stuff, all that takes money and time away from you where you should be having more freedom to do what you want to do now. So how do you move yourself, transition yourself away from that situation to being a true empty nester who's now enjoying life? You got to take an assessment. Bottom line, you got to take an assessment of what's going on. You got to be real with yourself and sit down and look at, this is where I am. This is where I am. This is where we are. This is what's going on now. You know what? Our expenses, our time, all the efforts you put into the house, it is taken away from our freedom to do what we want to do, or your freedom to do what you want to do. Guess what? Those memories you have in your house, you got pictures, you can bring those pictures with you. That wall that you was marking the size of your kids, take a picture of that, frame it. You could take that with you. That extra money you're going to get, especially if your home is paid off, where if you sell that home, you're going to have now a lot of money coming to you, which in a lot of cases is going to be tax-free, no capital gains on it, up to $500 for couples, So, hey, that's money that you're going to be able to receive to now do whatever you want to do. So think about it. And that next place you get, it don't have to be 2 stories. It doesn't have to be 4,000, 3,000 square feet. It don't even have to be 2,500 square feet. It can be a home that basically fits your needs. Now, I know lots of times we talk about downsizing. That's part of downsizing. But I like to really look at it as you're right sizing. You're finding a place, you're moving to a situation, you're transitioning to where you are now, where you are current, what your current situation is now, that helps you now be able to have that freedom that you want to have in life, be able to explore other things that you weren't doing before. So think about it. So let's look at some areas of choice right here in Claremont. Now, we talk about Claremont. If you don't know about Claremont, Florida is what they call the choice of champions. Why do they call it the choice of champions? Well, I talked about in a lot of my other segments that Claremont has hills. And we attract a lot of athletes here to Claremont because we have great facilities where athletes can train. We have these hills where these bike riders love. It's just an area where you have a lot of attraction where these people are coming. And then we have Wellness Way coming up, where we have a lot of new builds there, but they're going to have a athletic facility there that's going to attract even more people. So it is really the place to be. A lot of things are happening in Claremont. It's a beautiful area. We got lakes, we got trails, we have a lot of open parks, a lot of places where you can go hiking and do a lot of things. So it makes it very attractive to those athletes and to other people who just want to live in the area. Then you talk about Mineola. You got Sugarloaf Mountain. Sugarloaf Mountain is the highest elevation that you have in Florida. The views there are just beautiful. I mean, even here in Claremont, as I come down, when you come down Claremont, if you're on, North Ridge, if you're coming down North Ridge going right onto Hancock, as you're coming down to that stop light there, you can look and you can just see the hills. I mean, it's just beautiful. You can go to Claremont International, the View. You go to the View, go out to the View where they have golfing there. They have miniature golf there. They have the driving range there. You have food there. They have different activities there. The View there is beautiful. That's why they call it the View. Wonderful place to be, wonderful place to live. Mount Verde, we got the elegance of Mount Verde. It's really higher-end homes there. You have older homes there. You have some new construction, which is basically in Bella Collina, and some areas where people buy the land and they build up their homes. And you do have some new construction happening in the area as well. Groveland is more of your growing community. It's a growing community there in Groveland. You'll get more affordability there in Groveland and Mascot. So those are some areas for you to consider, more of a rural area, but a lot of new construction is popping up there, and you do have resale. So that's a place for you to consider. And now as an empty nester, you say, well, do I have to move into a 55 plus community, or can I move into a community that's not a 55 plus? That is your choice. It all depends on what you're looking for once you make that move. If you're someone who wants to have your grass taken care of, if you want your landscaping done, if you want to live in more of a resort type community, if you want some activities for you to do on a daily basis, a weekly basis, whatever you choose to, you might want to consider moving into an active adult community, a 55 plus community, because one, you don't have to worry about doing your landscaping. And in many of these communities, you could have all these things wrapped up into your HOA fees, meaning they'll do your landscaping. Some of them even cover your internet fees, your water fees. All that can be wrapped in to your HOA fees, depending on what community you move into. You want to be in a gated community to have the option of being gated, non-gated. But that one of the things it gives you when you don't have to do your grass anymore, you don't have to worry about your landscaping, and you have a clubhouse you can go and do your workout. You don't have to pay for a gym membership because you have all your equipment there. You have resort community where you have your pools, your hot tub, you have the activities going on there. That relieves some of that stress and freedom, and you can still buy a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, or 4-bedroom home. But rather than it being 2-level, you can do 1 level. And you still have place for your family to come and spend time and visit. And being in this area of those 5 areas I talk about, Claremont, Mineola, Mount Verde, Groveland, Mascot, you're still close to activities as far as the amusement parks. Wonderful place to live. So just consider those things. Now, I mentioned about 55 plus communities. Now, non-55 plus communities, you still have a lot of options out there. You have places like Bella Collina that I mentioned. You got Sugarloaf Ridge, new construction being built right out there on Sugarloaf Mountain. You have Villa Pass, which is in Mascot. nice community, new construction there. You have several options. And as far as 55 plus, we got several options with the 55 plus. New construction, we talk about Delwell, Mineola. We talk about Sanctuary at Wellness Ridge. We talking about Kings Ridge, which is the older community, has been here for quite a while. We got Esplanade Highland Ranch, where I live, beautiful communities. So your options are available for you to have options if you want to go 55, non-55. It all depends what you're looking for. When you move into a non-55 community, what you're basically looking to do is you want to move into a community where, one, the home fits your needs. That's one. Yes, a lot of these communities, they still have pools and everything else in the non-55 plus community. You can even move into a community that doesn't have a pool. It all depends. And how do you choose between the two? One, what your budget will allow you to do. Two, what you're looking for in that community as far as what you want that community to have available to you. And three, location. These are the bottom line. And you want to go around the community and see what's happening in the community, see if it really fits your needs, right? Now, things to consider, HOAs. You want to move into a community that has an HOA. If you move into a 55 plus community, it's going to have an HOA, bottom line, because the HOA covers all the amenities and the things you need to have covered, along with the staff that's available to take care of different things within that community. Two, CDDs. Many communities here in Florida have CDDs. What's a CDD? Community Development District. You're going to have to, some communities have CDDs, some communities don't. My community doesn't have a CDD. When you're looking into these different communities, whether it's new construction or resale, some of them have the HOA along with CDDs, and some of them have just HOA. So you want to look at those options, what's available to you, and you want to look at what is covered and make sure that it fits within your budget, your price range. Those are some things for you to consider. Okay? Now, when you're right sizing, downsizing, whatever, you want to have a right sizing checklist. So what does that mean? What's the right sizing checklist is? You want to do a room by room audit of where you currently live, and you want to categorize the things that you have. You want to make sure you go through each room that you have right now, and you say, okay, these are the things that I have. What am I going to keep? What am I going to gift? When am I going to do a garage sale? And what am I going to give away? You want to categorize each one of those areas, and you want to go through those things, and you want to do this. And even if you're not even a downsizer or a right sizer, or you're not a 55 plus or empty nester, whatever you're selling, you should be doing the same thing, regardless. You want to go through your things, decide what you want to keep, you want to gift, you want to give away, or you want to do a garage sale. Okay? Because this is going to help you on your move. This is going to make your move more smoother. It's going to make it easier for you. So those are some things for you to consider. And you want to do the maintenance math. And what does that mean? If you're living in a home that you've been in for some time and you're thinking about right sizing, you want to do the math on what's your current situation. And what do I mean? What does it cost you every year to stay in the home that you're in? Because you're going to have to do repairs, right? Eventually you have to do repairs on your home. What does it cost you to get your home clean? What time does it cost you in you doing your own landscaping or hiring somebody to do your landscaping? You want to consider all things. If you own a pool, what does it cost for you maintaining that pool in this larger home? What does it cost for you? One, how long have you been in this home, and when was the last time you've had your roof replaced? What does it cost you to replace your roof? These are some things you want to look at. You want to do the math, put the numbers together, and you want to compare it to, okay, if you sell your home and you move to a newer home right now, okay, what is that cost comparison? Where does it put you now that you purchase a new home, whether it's a resale home, or if it's a new construction? You want to do the math between them two, right? And you want to consider your lifestyle change. What kind of lifestyle change are you going to have? You're going to decide if you're empty nester thinking about going to a 55 plus community or a non-55 plus community, you want to consider, what are you looking for? Do you want to have a golf cart? So do you want to be in a community that allows you to have a golf cart to travel around the community, to go to the clubhouse, to go to the pool, or just ride around the community? What type of golf cart do you need? Do it need to be street legal or not, or whatever? In this area here, Claremont and Mineola, you got so many things going on. So having that accessibility to a golf cart that is street legal, that would be great. But you got to also check on the laws and the regulations and the rules to having it. Maybe you can get an electric bike. Electric bike works, and that gives you the accessibility to go to the different things that's around this area, and you can utilize that with the trails and the bike trails and the walking trails, everything it has, so you can see everything that's available. So you want to consider that as well, all right? So, your property. Before you put your property on the market, you want to make sure you get an evaluation done, a valuation done. Meaning you get, you have a market analysis done in your home. Either you have your realtor sit down with you and basically gives you the numbers on what it's saying you can sell your home for, showing you the equity you have in your home, what your return will be in the end after you sell your home, or you want to get your home appraisal done on your home so you can see what the value you have in your home. Now, you have several options when you sell your home. You got several ways you can sell your home. You can decide, if you're a person who's 55 plus, who many times a lot of people don't take advantage of this when they sell their homes. You can do what's called I have it in my notes here. Where is it? 55 plus. Some people do a reverse mortgage. Some people do a reverse mortgage where they stay in their home and they just do a reverse mortgage on their home. But there's another option available. Ooh, that thunder. Ooh, it was just thunder just now. It was loud. Wow. Well, rather than doing a reverse mortgage, some people do what's called, I forgot the name of it exactly. But what they do is basically they put some money into the interest. They're able to take the interest they have from their home, buy another home, just pay a little bit of difference when they have no mortgage. That, you want to have more details on that, send me a message, send me a DM. I connect you with a loan officer that specializes in doing that can explain the process to you. No obligations, no meaning that you have to do it, but you're just getting the facts before you make that move. All right? So, and some people who already have their home paid off, you could use the money that you have from the home that you have paid off in some cases and just purchase the new home that you're moving into. A lot of people who are moving to the 55 plus communities, they're doing that. Those who are who are a little bit older, who have a lot of money saved, or they're making a lot of money from the sale of their home, especially if you're moving from New York, California, Chicago, those type of places, where they actually selling their home for a lot more and able to come over here to Florida, come down to Florida and purchase their home in cash, which gives them the freedom to, one, not have to worry about making a mortgage payment, and they get and they just have to pay the HOA and then the CDD. That's when you really want to look at what your HOA fees are going to be and what your CDD fees are going to be, so you can find out what your budget, what you're comfortable with as far as like your budget. And understand that your HO fees will go up depending on where you are, and you want to look at the community. Do you want to be in a larger community where you don't mind there being 3,000 homes in the community, or do you want to be in a smaller community where there's maybe 400 homes, 490 homes? In Esplanade Highland Ranch, there's 490 homes. We don't have any new construction now. We have resale now. And the resale market here, homes sell, and they sell at the rate they should be selling. It usually takes anywhere, I got my math, I didn't put down, it could take anywhere from 30 to 60 days here in the 55 plus community for your home to sell where I'm at right now. And depending on if they have it priced right. So, good options for you to look at, things for you to consider when you're thinking about making that move as an empty nester. I'm going back on my notes now. Okay, I think I covered mostly all the things I wanted to cover as far as empty nesters. If you have any questions for me, feel free to get on any time, send me a message. I'll answer your questions. Thank you for watching this episode of Lunch and Conversation with Mark. I hope you got a lot out of it. Please send me a message, send me some info. Have any questions? I'm here to help. Mark Hughes, Southern Home Specialist, EXP. My number, if you want to call me directly or even send me a text, is 352 352-932-3086. That's my number. Or you can text me, or you can send me a little DM or a message, and I'll be happy to talk with you. Have a blessed day. I hope all this information I shared with you was helpful. God bless you. Bye-bye.